Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny has been sentenced to an additional 19 years behind bars, this time on extremism charges. A court handed down his third prison sentence, adding to the years he's already serving for parole violations, fraud and contempt of court. The Kremlin's most vocal critic watched on as the verdict was delivered via video link to the facility where he's serving his sentence. His supporters say this is all part of a campaign to silence him. Well, journalist Yulia Shapovalova is live for us now in Moscow. What's been happening over the last few hours, Yulia?
So we understand that Navalny is now guilty of the creation of an extremism organization, the rehabilitation of Nazism, the involvement of minors in illegal actions, and a number of other charges. The prosecutor's office requested 20 years in prison for him, but he received just 19. Just 19. Oh, my goodness. It's so cruel, according to so many his supporters and other people. The announcement was made behind closed doors in the colony where Navalny is serving his current prison term. The journalists were not allowed into the courtroom. They were watching the broadcast in a separate room in the colony's premises. So the quality of the broadcast was very poor, though. So basically, that's the latest we have.
You mentioned there that his supporters have been calling this cruel, but how are his supporters reacting, given the fact that it didn't seem to come as a surprise, the result of this decision? When we saw the pictures of Navalny in the prison itself, he seemed quite relaxed. He was at one point like smiling and chatting to the other people on the bench.
Well, that's right. Obviously, Navalny has been criticizing Russia's President Putin as well as the current political system in Russia for many years. So he and his supporters claim that his persecution and imprisonment are politically motivated. And no doubt the new verdict is a blow to Navalny, his family and his supporters. But many here believe that he won't serve his entire term and will be released much earlier as soon as the current political system changes. Currently, Navalny sits in a jail with very strict conditions, and his supporters almost daily release information regarding his deteriorating health. This time around, the state prosecution asked the court to send Navalny to serve his new sentence in a maximum security facility, a colony with the most severe conditions for prisoners. So there is no understanding at all why such a cruel verdict to a person who's never killed or tortured anybody is to come into force. Does it mean that the authorities are so afraid of their critic that they want to treat him so inhumane and extremely cruel? Some presume that despite Navalny doesn't have all people's overwhelming support in the country, he still could have become a tool in the hands of Russia's Western opponents, and that can really be threatening for the authorities.
Yulia Shapovalova from Moscow. Yulia, thank you very much indeed.